Hello, this is Vicki, Retro Queen Bee Art. Let's be busy in art. And I am recording this video as an addendum to the live that I did on cherry blossoms. The reason is because we didn't paint the center, and it's a little bit tricky, and not too bad tricky, but the coloring I had to dabble with to get it to look as much as a cherry blossom as I could. And so I wanted to show you how I did that. Now, I do have a tiny brush here. I got it at Michael's. It's a 2-level 20-0. It is very small on the tip of this brush. And so you could use a Q-tip if you didn't have a tiny brush to do this job that we need to do to try to get it to look as realistic as we can. But we know that these are whimsical cherry blossoms, and I do want to use the template in the middle because that way people who cannot draw can also do this. So it's a little bit of practice. It's pretty simple to do. The color I am using is the basic acrylic, and this is, what color is this? It's kind of a mauve, dark mauve color. Magenta. And then I am using a yellow, primary yellow, in the basic acrylic. Okay, and so what we're going to do is start with the magenta, and we are just going to make little tiny dots. I'm going to turn this around this way so it'll be a little easier to see. Okay, so I'm just doing this. All you do is in the center and try to get the center where all your, as round as you can. It's not going to be completely round, but let's see here. Then we're going to want to add a little bit more around here. All right, and then I'm just going to paint. And you don't need to, you can be off the template. It's okay. You don't have to be perfect on the template. And just color that template in with the mauve. And this is how we're doing it. Whoops, went into the yellow. Oh, that's okay. And then we're just going to come out here. Try not to get the tips with the mauve because we're going to make those tips yellow. And I think with this combination, it looks really pretty. And just kind of dot in that center. We want to try to get all the white in the template because, we can't, we had to leave some white around the stem. That's because you just have to with this template when you cut it out. But we're just going to cover it with this. Okay, and then we're going to go to the next one. And we'll do the same thing. Just because then we're going to cut these out. And I think you'll really like the way they look. Very similar to a cherry blossom, but very whimsical. And the reason why I'm doing this addendum is because I realized I didn't really work on the center of the cherry blossom while I was on the live show. And so this will just be an addendum to the live show on cherry blossoms. And you see I got a little bit, but I'm not worried because I think I can fix that if I need to. trying to get it as small as I can on this. Just brushing the template. Here we go. See, I'm just brushing that, and this one has a little bit more white to it, but that's okay. Just go ahead and brush over the little stems here on the template. And it might take you a couple coats, you know, to get the look that you want. And to get them covered, because we are using a very little brush. And it doesn't carry very much paint on the end. All right. So I think that looks good. So I'm going to wash the tip of my brush off. Oh, I know what would work better than a Q-tip, a toothpick, because this is pretty small. A toothpick, excuse me. Change that to toothpick, please. You need a smaller tip. And now I'm going to go into the yellow. And I'm just going on top of this mauve color. I'm making little dots. It's very interesting because it does have a tendency to come up, right? When you put this paint on it. And then I'm going to put little dots right there on the tip that our template shows. And we might have to use a little extra paint because this is very, oh yeah, you want to use a toothpick. Oh my, no, you do not want to use a Q-tip. You want to use a toothpick. A toothpick. So then we are going to continue to just daub color. This will make the center here kind of pop out with these little dots here on the end of the template. I was kind of worried that the template was kind of straight and that, you know, maybe we couldn't get a good painting center, but I was wrong because this combination here is just really good. Now I'm going to go down these stems and I'm just going to add some yellow, and I'm just going to kind of dot it on, and so that we have a combination of mauve and yellow onto the little stems. And there is also some black there that kind of highlights. And let's see, we'll probably need to put a little bit more yellow on here. Just kind of dot it on. Oops. Well, that's okay. It's easier. It's really easy. I don't know if you see my head, but it's easier for me if my head is right over the flower. And then that way I can kind of see what I'm doing better and get a little better look as I paint, maybe, because I can see it better. It doesn't have to be perfect, but see how I am putting extra coats on the yellow, stemmed, and it just really makes it pop out and looks very cute. Very cute. But you do have to add some coats, and then it kind of like pops out, which is really cool. So then we're going to add the yellow here on this other one. Now notice when I painted this pink, a light pink Gouache watercolor, and the center I used on mixed acrylics. Let's see if I can find, yeah. So I used this hot pink in the center because I did not have a hot pink in the Gouache. So I did use this particular paint in the center and kind of made it, you know, so it's a little bit darker. Just to give the bloom a little bit of shape. Very easy to paint. It's not hard at all. And I'm going to continue to add yellow and try to get this the best I can. I think maybe a little more here, a little more here, here, and other than that, I think that's good. I'm going to put my brush in the water, and we're not supposed to leave our brushes in the water. However, sometimes I do. One last thing, I want to add a little outline like I did here, and I'm going to use the Posca pen. And it's pretty simple. All you're going to do is take your Posca pen around the outer edge, and when you outline, you want to outline the top leaf. So if by chance one of your leaves, like this one, is under this particular one, do the top leaf fully and the under one like that, because then it looks better. Okay. So if you got a little bit of, you can always use this marker to fix up boo-boos if you want to. I'm just thinking I did one here. So no biggie, right? I mean, you can fix it up, see? All right, so we're going to go over here and here. And just kind of continue. Now this one is under this one, so I am going to make sure that this one's like that. And then I will cut one out to show you what it'll look like. And I'm continuing to work on the lady collage. I don't have all my flowers done. Oh, I don't know, my day went a little different yesterday than I thought. And so that's just how it happened. But see how when you outline it, the blossom does have some punch to it. All right, so now I will cut one out. I think I'll cut this one out because it's probably very, very dry. You do not want to cut these out when they're wet. You want to make sure they're dry. And I really like the print. You can see the print. It's really, really cute. All right. So all we're going to do is fussy cut around these. But also, when I can, now this one I might not be able to, but we'll see. I'm going to cut around here. And then we're going to cut around here. I'm going to try. Now this one I have an opening. So I am going to take this opening and cut it out. the best I can, right? Okay. And then we're going to come around here. When you cut this opening, it gives the flower a better, the flower blossom, a better, what can you call it? Flexibility. So at first I only see these two areas. So I'm going to do these two areas first. And then if I see where I can cut the other ones, I will. Okay, so we're going to come in here, come right up to there. Oh, and then we want to cut this out. Come back around here. All right. And see how, so what I'm going to do, because I didn't do a very good job right here, I got to come around here and cut that out. There we go. Now, as you look at blossoms, they are not, let's see, how do we want to make this one? Because I don't want to ruin them. So this is what we're going to do. Just going to trim this one off just a tiny bit, just to give it a little space there. And then we're going to do this one too. Let's see, I think I might do it this way. Just a tiny bit. And I'm not going to cut off the stem that's coming out. There we go. And see, then you have a lot more flexibility with your flower to put on the collage. And if we have to, let's see, I just got to, this is bugging me. I just want to trim this up a little bit better. If I can get my scissor in there. There we go. And sometimes it just takes a little bit like that. Yeah, that looks just... So you have a little flexible flower. That's a cherry blossom. Now I didn't do this side, so let's do this side too, because I just think it looks better. And I'm going to come around my stem. I kind of come in there. And we're going to kind of come in there. And we're just going to take a little bit off. Like that. There. So that is also, oops. So that is also flexible. There we go. So I hope you enjoyed this little lesson. We're at the end. And I need to stop the recording. Thank you so much for coming by and enjoying this addendum to the cherry blossom. And I will see you in the next video. Please like, share, subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate it. Thank you.